Hello, you are watching the Hellraiser Boxing blog. Please give us a like, or better still, give us a subscribe. Very much appreciated. Today we're going to look at Luis Ortiz against Deontay Wilder, who meet for the WBC World Heavyweight title. Intriguing fight. One that I've actually had a lot of people asking me who do I think and telling me that they're really looking forward to this blog. So here we go. I've known both of these fighters throughout their careers. Both had very good amateur backgrounds, so I followed them from early on. I've seen Wilder box a couple of times in the flesh. Ortiz I haven't, but like I said, I've followed him all the same. So let's cover the fighters first. So Ortiz, Cuban, from the very famous Rafael Trejo gym in Cuba, southpaw, 6'4", freakishly long reach, 2.14 meters, which is actually longer than Wilder's, and that poses for me a lot of problems for Wilder, because although Wilder's come up against tall guys before, not tall guys that can fight. And Luis Ortiz, I mean, there's a massive rumour in America, and whether it's a rumour or it's the truth, I have no idea. So I can't tell you. What I can say is that I work a lot in America. I go to America a lot for boxing business, and I've heard of so many different people that they just say, matter of fact, oh, Luis Ortiz is nowhere near the age that it says on his passport. He's like 5, 6, 7 years older than what it says on there. I don't know whether it's true or not, but what I will say, I have noticed in Ortiz, certainly his speed slowing down, and the speed of his feet especially, which foot speed for a southpaw is a massive influencing factor, and I think could be a big factor in this fight, in the first half of the fight. I think we're going to see, from a tactical point of view, Wilder presents himself as this sort of animal who, you know, he talks sort of raw, but I've met him, I've spoke to him at length. He's quite an intelligent guy, comes across like a thinking man more than a brawler, not a brute. The way you look at his things on social media sometimes, and for me, I think, you know, that it's like he's trying to present himself as that brute. But if we actually look at the way that he boxes, he tends to be very conservative, not to take risks. He to me, actually, I would say I think he lacks confidence. He tends to box very almost negative. He extends his front arm. Which actually against a southpaw that can be very useful, and I saw him against one of the southpaws that he boxed, Gerald Washington, extends the front arm, brings it, and this is something I love when people that box southpaws, anyone that I train or that I look after and they're boxing a southpaw, this is one thing that's perfect, is if you've got the possibility to bring that high left hand, and Wilder does keep a high guard most of the time, if he can keep that left hand high and use it to, as he did against Gerald Washington. And look, Gerald Washington wasn't the best fighter in the world. He somehow, I saw him, first time I saw him box, I thought, right, good club level fighter. They can sort of navigate his way through to a degree, and then obviously he'll get beat because he's not quite that elite level. Right, they were boxing. Wilder used his left hand to bring the hands down. You watch it on YouTube, you'll find it. Knocks his hands down and then finishes him with a perfect right hand, great right hand. My only criticism of that would be, you know, Wilder could have done that earlier in the fight. To me, he doesn't seem to have the confidence. I have a thing where I think he seems to lack confidence. Why didn't he let those shots go the first opportunity that they were? Well, I know why he didn't, because he fights conservative, he fights protection first, not get hit first, and that's probably an intelligent way to box. But it doesn't set the world on fire in the way that, you know, like a Tommy Hearns, who he wouldn't wait till round 11 to let the shots go. He would do it in round 1, round 2. And that's how you become like the exciting fighter that Hearns did, that I'm not sure if Wilder will ever get to. Eventually, potentially, there's a fight with Joshua, so that will get him the acclaim and the big payday and the attention. That's another fight to look at down the line, I guess. Right, Ortiz to me looks like he's slowed down recently, and I think what we're going to see here, I think the first half you're going to see Wilder revert to type. He's going to go safety first, and you've got Wilder who's got long arms, but Ortiz, despite being shorter by several inches, has actually got an even longer reach, 213 centimeters reach for Ortiz, and 211 for Wilder. So it's not much difference, but it does make a difference when Wilder's used to fighting people that he has a longer reach than, and suddenly here he doesn't. So that long extended arm that you can just hold out against most opponents to keep them out of range, you can't actually do that with Ortiz, because Ortiz only has to throw a punch at the same time and he'll clip him. I think Wilder definitely has faster feet. So the first half of the fight, I think you're going to see Wilder outbox him possibly quite negatively. Safety first, just beating him to the jab and moving outside of. And interesting thing is that Wilder definitely knows how to box a southpaw. I mean, watch the videos, you can see he feints a lot to the body. He gets his foot outside of the southpaw's front foot, and he has naturally a high left hand, and he manages to use that to get his hand outside of the southpaw's lead hand and to box. Ortiz, very clever southpaw, knows how to box against an orthodox fighter, and I think he's going to cause problems to Wilder. The reason why I think Wilder wins the first half of the fight, because I think his feet are far quicker than Ortiz. Certainly the last sort of 12 months I've noticed Ortiz seemed to slow down a lot. And like I say, there's a lot of rumours that Ortiz is older than what the age he says that he is. Meaning that I think the first half you're going to see Wilder outfoxing him without really brutalising him. Like I say, Wilder often seems to present himself as like a ring animal. I don't see him as that. I've never actually. The only time he does this Captain Windmill thing that they call him. It's normally people that don't like him that call him that. It looks terrible. I think at a higher level, and I think against someone like Luis Ortiz, he could come unstuck if he does Captain Windmill too early. I think normally he only does it when the guy's already beaten. I mean, if you look at, like, for example, the Audley Harrison fight, I was there that night. He hurts Harrison. Harrison showed very little ambition anyway. He was very tentative and looked a bit like gun shy. He hurts Audley with one shot, hesitates, then Audley wobbles, looks like he's almost knocked out, and then we get this sort of Captain Caveman, Captain Windmill, whatever, approach from Wilder. Ortiz is too good to and that's a massive risk if he stands in range and starts, because Ortiz will get through. Ortiz will with one shot, and they say the last thing to go is their punch. If it is true that Ortiz is older than he says he is, and he is now showing the signs of wear and tear for having had a long career and is slowing down. His feet definitely, to me, look like they've slowed down. I don't think that's a technical manoeuvre that he's decided to get more leverage or anything. I just think his feet have slowed down because he's got older and heavier and not as quick as he used to be. If Wilder turns this into a slugfest, which I can't see him doing, but if he does, and he might do the second half, because I actually think the second half of the fight, Ortiz will get inside Wilder's jab a lot more and will start hitting him in the body, and I think Wilder, despite having had quite a long career already, like nearly 40 fights, he's not really been hit much, and he will get hit against Ortiz, who's got longer arms, who's going to realise very quickly, right, my feet can't keep up with this guy. Ortiz is going to cut off the ring, which he's capable of doing, he's very good at doing. He has a very good straight left hand, Luis Ortiz, knocked many people out with one punch, using it, and Wilder's probably going to taste it, and that makes it actually a more interesting fight, because then we're going to see how Wilder reacts to that, and how I think he'll react will be to actually go quite conservative, negative, come at long range and move sideways using his feet, his fast feet. But the second half of the fight, as his feet start to slow, fighters do as they tend to tire, then you're going to see an interesting fight. For me, I still have Wilder winning it, which is why, for me personally, I'm not going to bet on this fight. I won't touch it, because I think the odds are strongly in favour of Wilder. He's a strong odds-on favourite. And there's a lot of question marks about Wilder that in his career so far, we have not seen him hit on the chin by a world-class heavyweight. We've certainly not seen him hit flush. And I think in this fight, we will see that. Even if I actually think Wilder probably will win by some distance. I even think he could stop Ortiz in the if I had to put my hat on it, I'd probably say round 9. I think we could see a late stoppage in favour of Wilder, but I think more interesting for me is going to be how will he react and what solutions will he find, because that's the sort of test that could give us indication as to if he fights Fury or he fights Joshua, how will he navigate his way through it. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching the Hellraiser blog. Catch us again, and like I say, give us a like or a subscribe. Thanks very much, guys. Bye-bye.